I've been playing around with both the iPhone 17 Pro and the iPhone 17, and these two are very similar in terms of when it comes down to a lot of different things. So if you're looking at both of these models, I want to help you decide which one is the right one for you. To me, it doesn't make a difference, but to you, it can make all the difference because having the device that is right for you is going to keep you happy for many years to come. The very first place I want to start is with the design of both of these devices because on one hand, you have the iPhone 17 with a very clean and minimal design, whereas the iPhone 17 Pro and the 17 Pro Max have a very bold design, whether it's its colors or its two-tone pattern. And this is going to be something that's going to be, your choice of which one you like. But if there was a design choice that I prefer in terms of just looking at the two devices, I do like the design of the iPhone 17. But again, I also like the design of things like the iPhone Air and the iPhone 16e. I like a clean and simple design. And when it comes to the Pro models, I think the previous years when we had things like the 16 Pro, I think these designs looked a lot better than the current one, but that's just me, so take it as you will. Now, when it comes to feeling these devices in the hand, on paper, there is a difference in weight, and you certainly feel that here, but there has been quite a bit of reduction. Because, like, if you pick up the 17 Pro or the 16 Pro, the 16 Pro feels a lot heavier simply because it had that titanium. But now you've got like the aluminum unibody on the 17 Pro and then glass on the front, ceramic shield too. And then you also have this glass panel right back here, where in the center of the glass panel is where you have your Apple logo. And that's simply so you can still have things like MagSafe. Another reason the iPhone 17 Pro is going to feel really nice is just the rounded off corners. They feel really good in the hand. So when you have this device, whether you have a case on it, it's going to give you a good experience. And when it comes to the iPhone 17, here you have an aluminum body frame all around the edges, and then you've got ceramic shield 2 on the back, and then ceramic shield 2 on the front. Whenever I've used the Pro devices, because I'm just used to lighter phones, whether that was my 12 mini or 13 mini, and now it's the iPhone Air, right? So for me, like this weight is a lot. Like I get that pain in my hands. But if you're used to a Pro model, then I don't think that you're going to have any issue whatsoever. The next thing I want to talk about is the display on these devices. And here the 17 is the one that really got an upgrade simply because on the base model, you haven't had your typical ProMotion display that we found on devices like the iPhone 16 Pro. For example, last year, the iPhone 16 Pro had the higher refresh rate display, but the iPhone 16 still had a standard 60 hertz display. But now, both of these devices are the same exact display. And what's cool is that the iPhone 17 got a little bit of a bump up and is now 6.3 inches. So it's the same size as last year's iPhone 16 Pro and this year's 17 Pro. So regardless of whether you are outdoors or whether you're using this indoors with that 3000 nits of peak brightness, these displays look really beautiful. And that goes for across the board, whether you have the iPhone Air or the 17 or even the Pro or Pro Max. The Pro Max, the only difference that you're going to get there is that larger display. The next major difference is going to be, well, you can see it, 2 cameras versus 3 cameras. The iPhone 17 Pro has, on top of the ultra wide and the wide angle that you find in the 17, it also has the telephoto. And how that works is that with the wide angle, when you're shooting in 1 and 2x, what it's going to do is crop in on this sensor right here. And then if you do a 4x or 8x shot, it's going to take the 4x and 8x from this sensor here. Now, what's more important than the amount of cameras you get here is whether or not you're going to utilize the Pro features here. That's where the Pro model really shines. Pro RAW for photos. You have so much versatility. It captures a flat photo, gets as much detail as possible, and then you can really change that photo after the fact when it comes to editing it. You don't get that versatility here in the iPhone 17 or any standard iPhone that is not a Pro model. And I will put older photos of Pro models and newer photos from this one, and you will see that the raw photos really take photos to another level when you have the Pro phone. Likewise is the case with ProRes video and then ProRes RAW video, which is also doing the same thing as Pro RAW for photos, but it's for video. It really allows you to capture an amazing amount of detail and then color grade that footage afterwards and really make it shine. Like, I remember sending video clips from my Pro iPhones when I've done their like reviews and stuff, and my friends literally get shocked. They're like, "What phone are you using?" Because a lot of people don't realize that the Pro capabilities here are what is really going to take this camera system to another level. Because if you're just shooting regular photos with this camera, trust me, you're just better off here because you're not utilizing those Pro features where these phones really shine. I have a lot of friends that are switching to the regular 17 or the iPhone Air simply because of this explanation that I gave them, that if you're not using Pro features, you're better off just utilizing one of these other models and enjoying those. Like, for example, just a lighter experience here day to day. That can have more value as opposed to just having three cameras and not utilizing them the way that they were meant to be. So what you're seeing right now is the front camera of the iPhone 17 Pro, again, utilizing that ProRes video format. And see, this is where, again, I will say that if you look at this setup, right, there's a microphone right here, which is going into an audio unit, which is wirelessly transmitting the signal over to the receiver that is on top of the iPhone. But if you look at this, right, this is where, again, you need to ask yourself, like, are you actually going to use this? Are you going to get this technical with your device? Because if you are, this video quality is so much better than what the other models are going to give you from the front camera, even though they're the same, because they don't have this format. This format, like, basically opens the door for so much more versatility. Now, when it comes to those Pro features, another thing you'll have to take into account is the USB-C ports, because this is at USB 2 speeds, and then this is at USB 3 speeds, which allows you to connect like Thunderbolt for SSD drives, have higher data transfers and stuff. Again, only relevant if you're utilizing those type of things. Otherwise, a USB 2 port, it's not going to make any difference to the average user whatsoever. So I'm about to hit the 30% mark on my iPhone 17 Pro. And I just want to show this because a lot of people think that you're going to get so much more screen time. This battery is not that much different than what I'm getting out of the iPhone Air or the iPhone 17. My screen time is 2 hours 55 minutes. My main culprits for battery usage today are camera, YouTube, YouTube Studio, and your, day-to-day things. Now I like to use that 80% charge limit, so let me show you what time it was taken off the charger. Last charge to 80%, 7:51. So given that this has dropped almost 50% with around 3 hours of screen on time, like I said, for the 17 and the Air, you can expect 6 to 7 hours out of an iPhone 17 Pro. Both of these devices, I can make it through the day. It's not a problem for me. On one of these devices, I can easily get 6 to 7 hours, and same thing here. But what I notice is that the iPhone 17 Pro is ending the day more in that 40% range, 45% range, whereas the iPhone 17 ends up at 30%. But if you look at that, it's not really that big of a difference. And if you have car chargers or a charger at your desk, or if you can simply just plug in a phone for 20 to 30 minutes, you can easily top up the battery. The last thing to consider with both of these devices is performance. This one has standard A19, this has the A19 Pro. And along with that, it also has a vapor chamber, which is helping to keep the phone cool for longer periods of time. Now, what you need to consider is how much do you gain? How much do you push your device? Because, for example, the vapor chamber in here is not going to kick on when you're texting your mom or your friends or your family, right? It's going to kick on under intense load. So when you're gaming for a long period of time, when you are shooting in things like ProRes video, Like when I used to test out ProRes video on the 16 Pro or the 15 Pros, they got really hot. And there was even one time where the phone just shut off and killed my recording simply because it got too hot. That doesn't happen here. And if it does, it hasn't happened to me yet because I haven't pushed it for that extended period of time. But overall, is the A19 and the iPhone 17 going to be a letdown? If you want to play games combined with that fast refresh rate, you shouldn't have any trouble. I like to play like 30 to 40 minutes sometimes of Call of Duty Mobile. I also like playing Clash Royale. And Clash Royale isn't even that GPU intensive, but you do have one less core of GPU. But are you really going to notice it? It all depends on how much you are going to be pushing your device. The edge of performance is always going to go to the 17 Pro simply because it has a vapor chamber, it stays cooler longer, so the CPU can run at higher loads for a longer period of time. But you need to think about the load that you're putting on your device. The last thing I want to discuss is the price of both of these phones. This one is $799, base model, 256 gigabytes. This iPhone Pro is $1099, 256 gigabytes. And there's quite a bit of a difference there, right? Then you've got $300, and like I always say, buy what your wallet can afford. That is always more important. Don't look at these bold colors and be like, oh my God, I gotta have the new phone so people know I have the new phone. That is just too shallow. Don't even go there. Don't get caught up in that mess. Buy what's going to serve you well and you will always be happy. And this is something I'm just going to leave up to you. But if I look overall, the amount of value you get here for $800, if I'm not using those pro features, you can simply put this device away. I don't need it. You know, I'll be more than happy here with the iPhone 17. Now, overall, with these two devices, which one would I pick and which one I suggest you go for? Personally, I don't really care about the pro features here. I don't utilize them in my phone. I have a camera to do that. And if you're somebody that was previously buying the Pro model because of the ProMotion display, well, you have that here. You have your ultra wide, you've got your main wide lens, which is really good and really competitive when it comes to the Pro, especially considering that we're not comparing the Pro features, right? So at the $800 price, this gives you a lot of value. But if you value the Pro features, then this 17 Pro is what you need to go for. I really hope you found some value here. If you want to support my channel and help me quit my daytime job, which I really want to do, I will leave some links down below of the different products I make and the different ways that you can support me. And thank you to all of the people that are out there supporting me already. I'm really grateful for it. If you found some value here, just give me a thumbs up so more people can find this video. Comment down below with any more questions you might have pertaining to these two devices, and I will do my best to help. And most importantly, always take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.